Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk KPs. So, our topic for today is Entrepreneurship Building the Black Empire. My guest today is Jamal, Kylon, and MJ. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure this is going to be an interesting show today. I'm really excited about all of the information that you're going to bring to us. So let's just get started. What does entrepreneurship look like to you?
Hey everybody, so I would say entrepreneurship looks like, to me, it looks like flexibility. It provides multiple streams of income, and it doesn't require so much of the heavy lifting that we're accustomed to seeing. So usually in the past, whenever I would want to make extra money, I would want to either work overtime or start or get a new job or something like that. And that would take up so much time, right? You only have 24 hours in a day. So I'm learning to monetize my time and make my time make money for me. And then also not being a slave to my time, because I'm not trying to, give up so much time just to make extra money and you're not able to even enjoy it.
Alrighty. Anyone else wants to add to what MJ just said? By the way, audience, these are all seasoned entrepreneurs. They are making the money and they are living what it is that they are teaching, okay? They are living what they are teaching. They're not just talking the talk, but they are walking the walk as well.
I'll probably jump in and say, when it comes to what entrepreneurship is, obviously it's the ability of any individual to take something that they enjoy doing, they're gifted at doing, and finding a way, as MJ said, to turn it into a form of income, additional form of income, but understanding that it requires work, dedication. Like your love for something is one thing, like, ooh, I love to sew patches. People say I'm good at it. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean you were an entrepreneur for it, but do you have passion? Goes back to something I talked about, being educated, understanding what goes into it, the dedication, understanding the hard work. So it's taking all those things together and taking something you like to do or something you're good at and finding a way to make it business smart, business wise, and thinking beyond just your neighborhood or the people because a lot of businesses, entrepreneurship fail because people don't think beyond their scope. They don't get educated on understanding the finances necessary, the ups and downs that goes with it. They don't understand the business market of it. So they just think, I have something I'm good at or something I know how to make, and they put it out there and it fails. And they're like, oh, I failed. And they're like, did you learn from it? Because even these multi-billion-dollar companies will tell you that when they make these things, they're losing money on a certain amount before they actually start making money. So you have to have capital set up, educational, what it is you're selling, who's your market. The entrepreneurship is taking all of those things and applying it to something that you like to do or good at doing and making it a form of income.
All righty, that was a lot to digest.
Okay, I think it's my turn.
You can go ahead. You can jump in at any time you wish.
Okay, great. Just to piggyback on everything said, to me, when a person even thinks about venturing into entrepreneurship and being their own boss or anything of the personal sort, my biggest advice would be to, before you make that jump, do your research and know yourself. Because a lot of times people mistake being a business owner with being an entrepreneur, which are two different things. And there are so many businesses that fail because of that mistake. Because anybody can be a business owner. All you have to do is own a business. But with an entrepreneur, it's like a mindset that most people know they have, but they can't explain it and they don't venture into themselves more. They just say, okay, I don't want to work for anybody. I get irritated at my boss. I think I'm supposed to work for myself. But they don't understand, well, okay, how can I market myself? Because at the end of the day, no successful business is about the actual business. Apple doesn't sell Apple. It sells products. It sells face. It sells a name. So when you invest in an iPhone, for an example, you don't buy the CEO of Apple. You don't buy the project manager of the specific product that you buy. You actually buy into a mindset. So that would pretty much be my advice. Like, just do your research on yourself before venturing out.
Okay. So what do you think are some things that persons miss as entrepreneurs or during entrepreneurship?
One of the things most people miss is homework.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody or most people are under the impression that, okay, I'm going to get a product, I'm going to have a service, I'm going to offer it out to everyone, and it's going to work. Not many people research the niche market, research the profit and loss, research, okay, who is this product or service for?
Right.
But yeah, that to me, that's one of the main things.
I'll probably add on that what you're saying. It all comes down to, educating. It's also knowing your product, knowing your audience, and then understanding the business, the actual money, income and outcome of it. Understanding that every business needs an X costs. How much are you going to cost for overhead? How much are you going to cost to employ people? Because eventually you'll have to employ people if your business blows up. Marketing, getting all those things out. Because a lot of companies spend more money advertising and marketing their product than what the product actually costs. Taking a guess, like the PlayStation 5, a good example. To buy a PlayStation 5 is like $500 for the disc one and $400 for the other one. Sony has spent over $150 million just advertising it, and you wouldn't even realize it. So when you see those little commercials or a little pop-up or flyers, over $150 million just advertising. If I gave an entrepreneur and say, here's $150 million, do you know you could be swimming in money for a while? And this company literally said, that's our advertisement budget. That's not even the cost of packaging, creating, shipping it off, employing people. That's just to say, hey, this is a PlayStation 5, buy one. So I think when it comes to the finances, that's another major part that people don't realize, or they'll get caught up. Like Sony sells them for $500. I use them because it's an example I know. They sell a PlayStation for $500, but it costs them $400, $450 to make one. So you're making a $50 profit on every one that you sell. But then when you factor in all the other things, they have to sell, let's say, 2 million before they go, okay, we made a profit. Most people get into this entrepreneurship thinking, like you said, I came up with a business, I should be successful overnight. And some people, they find what's called a niche. They find this product that's just, it blows up. But even those people will tell you, unless you stay ahead of the curve, know your audience, know where you're going, control your money, you can go from being the hottest thing to last year. Like, oh yeah, we bought those things last year, the twisty fobby thing. Oh yeah, the fidgets. Somebody made a serious amount of money. You ask anybody about fidgets now, they're like,
not interested. What is it?
So finances, knowing your audience, but then also thinking beyond your business. Like, okay, I've established X product or X services. How do I keep it going?
Mm-hmm. You definitely have to be innovative. Like you said, you definitely have to every day find something new that is going to capture the attention, because when it comes to products, person seem to have a very short attention span. Like you would have mentioned, 1 minute the fidget spinner is the hot toy for everybody, and the next minute it's out the door. So
just last year, the year before that.
Yep, exactly. It's constantly changing. You have to constantly change with society and everything that's happening. So another question with that being said, what would you advise someone who's interested in becoming an entrepreneur? What advice would you give them for starting out and remaining successful? Because as Kylon would have mentioned, you can have a business, but does it really make you an entrepreneur? Your business, you can start a business and 1 minute it's open, a few weeks later, there's nothing happening. What would you tell them to ensure the longevity of whatever entrepreneurship they start or venture into?
If I had to say anything, the first thing is to understand is that not all businesses, not all entrepreneurship are going to succeed. Like if you come with understanding that not all of them will, it takes away the fear, the grip. It's like, look, there's a chance this will work, there's a chance this won't. So with that being said, you come in with the mindset of, is this really what I want to do? Is this a service and a product I really want to push? Because now you have to invest everything you have in it. It can't be half-baked. So that's why I say you come in with the understanding that, hey, there's a chance this could fail because you've seen businesses fail. It's a reality. It's not even being negative, it's a reality. So am I still going to do this? Yes. Am I willing to commit all of my time, my resources, everything? Yes. So that's one aspect, being able to commit time, money, and yourself to researching and development. A lot of things that allow businesses to survive, at least from what I've seen, is that understanding that your businesses will do this, 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 and this. You have to maintain your commitment to what you're doing and believing in what you're doing, like your brand. If I believe in X brand, I'm going to wear the brand whether it's selling or not. The other thing is to understand that as an entrepreneur, you have one of the beautiful flexibilities. You are the boss. You control where your money goes. You control where your product is seen. You control every aspect of your business, and you're not confounded by other like big corporations. They know, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. The other smart thing I'll tell people to do is look at people who are doing what you're doing or something similar to what you're doing. And there's no shame in really asking them, hey, how did you succeed in what you're doing? Some people will be like, that's top secret, can't tell you. And others will tell you, others will probably be like very surface and be like, well, you just do. But every now and then you get the ones that say, I was successful at what I'm doing. And we'll pull Tyler Perry, for example. Hey, I want to get into playwriting and be a successful playwright and then a director of movies. He says, all right, well, understand this. I used to sleep in my car. I was home, but I had a passion. So when you start surrounding yourself with people who have like-minded, like surround yourself with people who are smart with money, surround yourself with people who are smart with appetite, like start surrounding yourself with successful people who will feed into what you're doing. Because if you ever lost, like, man, I don't know what to do with my business, it's like, well, know someone who's good with money. Ask them, how do I balance this? So that's another thing I tell them to do. Surround yourself with successful people who will feed into what you're doing, let you know where you're going wrong. And if you can find people who own businesses like yours, or not even like yours, just I probably recommend go to people who don't have businesses like yours. So the competition thing is not that. Just simply say, hey, I want to sell shoes. I know you sell food. How do you stay successful? What did you do? And if they're real with it, they'll tell you the ups and downs, tricks of the trade. And you take all of that knowledge, combine that with your passion, and understand that your business is unique to you. Even if you're selling shoes or someone else is selling shoes, your business is unique to you. And lastly, ever lose that hunger. Some people become successful, they become complacent, and that's how you lose your business. Some people give up. That's how you lose your business. The biggest thing is to never, ever lose your passion. You gave birth to this, so you're responsible for it to the end. Something like that.
Hi guys.
Um,
MJ. Oh, you're going, Kylan. So MJ just came and surprised me, everybody. She left the whole Zoom meeting to come on.
My phone died. Sorry.
Where's she? I don't even see her.
I'm
sounds
sorry.
like she's
My
in the
phone
background.
died. So, Kylon said that you have to know yourself, right? So, with knowing yourself, you have to decide what kind of entrepreneur you want to be. If you're going to be passion driven, or you're more so into investments, you want to make, you want to reap the benefits, but you're not. It doesn't matter to you what kind of business you start, right? So, in business, they teach you that the first five. It takes about 5 years before you can see a profit in businesses and almost any industry. So similar to what I was saying about the PS5, yeah, they may have had X amount of dollars for advertisement, and you shouldn't be afraid to advertise. But what PlayStation, the Apple company, what they also do is they don't just make money off of their products. They don't just make money off of services. What they've been able to do is they have multiple streams of income under one umbrella. So Apple, for example, they offer services. So their products, if anything goes wrong with it, you have to come right back to them. So they redirect the traffic back to them. You're not going to go, granted, if you want, you can go buy a generic Apple charger, right? But it's not going to be the same quality. So eventually you'll find your way back to them. PS5, what they do too is they get a lot of sponsorship because they're such a major brand. People want to do business with them. So people are paying them so that they can have certain things or certain advertisement rights, or even to be advertised right next to a PS5 ad. You have to pay for that space, right? Because it's such a major brand, and you know that you're going to get visual, you're going to get contact, people are going to see it. So what they're doing is they're maximizing their profit. So when you're trying to translate that into small businesses, I would say don't be afraid to do things that are not necessarily related to the company or to the business that you're trying to start. One of my first bosses, she was a strong woman, and she had this business in the beauty industry. She was making so much money, right? And what she did was she started to sell things that were totally unrelated to her business. And she told us, she said, hey, what I do is I make money off of volume. We may say that you're only making $1, but because I price things the way that I do, I have the majority of the market. And she said, this pays my rent for the overhead of this business, right? So I was like, oh, wow. So she was like, this doesn't come off the profit I make here. So what I've come to learn over time is, one, you create a cushion for yourself. You create a cushion in something that may be totally random. You may be able to, in the Bahamas here, people may do top up, right? And if you're a top up vendor, you get 10 cents off of each top up, and then that may be able to pay your cable bill for that month, right? And that helps ease the cost. So I would say create a cushion in unconventional ways. It doesn't have to be related to your business, and then find out what kind of entrepreneur you are. You want to be more creative based, you're more passionate based, or you just want to be, then I'd say get to do that first.
So it definitely comes down to sort of finding a niche, like finding your special sort of place. And then you say establishing the core of what your business is, and then find ways for that business to make even more money to cover more things. But being careful at the same time not to be the jack of all trade and masters of none, the guy that wants I want to open a barber shop. I don't want to put a barbecue grill in there. And I want to do a video game. Like, bro, you want to be a barber, right? Yeah, you can't even cut hair yet. Let's start with the core of your business first. And then, of course, building your fan base. Because you're right, like, Apple is a perfect example. Apple can come out with the iPhone 15. It does the exact same thing as the iPhone 12, just has a bigger camera. Oh my gosh, I gotta have it. Why do you want it? Because it's Apple, and Apple's awesome.
Yes.
Right. It's, but they found the way to create a sort of a following. And that comes from obviously creating a product that's good enough to capture people. Because in this day and age, people don't want to spend money just to spend it anymore. So, but it goes into, I was looking up a definition of what entrepreneurship is, and it's kind of interesting because I never realized I had a definition like this before, because definitions kind of threw me off. It said the activity of setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risk in hope of profit. I think that's the goal of every business, is to make profit. Come up with a great product or service, people will come back, because if you have repeat customers, obviously you have a successful business. And then being smart with your profits, so that when the market does this or sales are low, you still have a cushion. I was very surprised that some of these, when this whole pandemic started, a lot of multi-billion-dollar companies were going bankrupt, which lets me know that they were literally going customer to customer, which kind of confused me, because I'm like, you have all these stores, you're doing so well. That's called marketing and advertising. People think you're doing well. What's that? She sounds a million miles away. What'd you say? Then we got the last part of what you said.
Mismanagement?
Yeah, there it is. Mismanagement of funds. Yeah, which goes back to the education thing we talked about for entrepreneurs. You have to be, since you're the boss, CEO, SPO, all them other titles. You're the janitor, the butler. You're everything for your company. Even when you hire people to do it, the person who should know more about your money is you.
That's true.
Yeah.
We do see when people get successful, all of a sudden they want to keep up with the Joneses business. Like, oh, well, we'll spend the money. We'll spend the money. It's like, bro, you spending more than coming in. I don't think that's a smart move. So you got to be patient. You can't look at the next person's business and be jealous of them. Look at the next person's business, and like I said earlier, find out, hey, what do you do that you allow you to be successful? Or you start getting mentor. That's another thing. Mentorship is important, I think, with entrepreneurship. Find people who are outside of the kind of business you're selling to eliminate that competition mindset, and make friends with people who are in the same type of business, because watching them, understanding them. I've known some people, they were trying to start their own business and they would purposely buy products like the one they were selling from other companies. And they set up such a rapport and a relationship with them that they started understanding their business. Not saying this is one of the nicest things to do, but they were able to learn how those people operate and flow, and then establish their own business. So, I mean, they're just different ways.
That is so true. And I definitely agree with the point that you made with being around persons who are like-minded or who are further than you are. Because when you're looking to move forward, or you're looking to see success or something different in your life, especially when it's a positive difference, you want to be around persons who are
I think she disappeared on us.
Her mic is still active. It's still recording.
Oh, still recording? Yeah. I'm not sure where she went. Yeah. Well, at least I know from my experiences and seeing people, it can be a cutthroat business too.
Yeah, it can.
Because you can be in a market that's so like overly saturated, and people getting their feelings, and all of a sudden they want to talk bad about your business and your product. And that's like, word of mouth that's life or death for some small businesses. So.
Yes, sir. Okay. She actually left.
Okay.
I guess she probably lost connection. Okay, she's back.
She's coming back. She at now? Come on, boss lady.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry about that. I got disconnected from the Apple phone. What's supposed to be so awesome, Apple, what are you doing to me? I don't know if y'all have that issue. Like, Apple really has to level it up. Like, we're talking about that right now. They need to get it together, because I think this is an iPhone 10 or 11. And when it is in the voice on my phone going low, it's something cutting out. It's ridiculous. And this came from the Apple store. So yes, I'm just gonna throw it out there, Apple. Yes, Shanice Hannah, I'm rating you, and right now you are at a 5.
I will do Apple. I will do Apple's laptops, the MacBook Pro. I'll do their iPad. But when it comes to the phone, Samsung.
Okay, let me ask one question before we bash Apple. Is your app up to date, and is your iOS up to date?
Yeah. Unlike Apple,
is up to date.
Unlike Apple, we don't have to update every 5 minutes. It seems like every time I open my iPad, every app I have downloaded needs to be update. Somebody's getting paid, so that's a job for somebody.
No, but it's ridiculous. Like, I was having a whole conversation and I just realized I got cut out. I'm like, well, what happened? But I was definitely agreeing with what Jamal said, because I'm not sure where I got cut out. It is really important, the company that you keep, that really plays a role in how far it is that you're going to make it, especially in the business arena, because you need persons who are successful. You need persons who would have already been there, done that, and can teach you what to do and what not to do, so that is definitely important. I totally agree 100% with what was said. Anyone wants to throw anything in before we end this session? Because I think that was a whole lot of information that we got from every one of you, including MJ. You all did an awesome job. That was a wealth of knowledge that you imparted upon us today, and I'm sure that everyone listening will definitely utilize it. Hopefully, utilize it to the best of their advantage and to the best of their abilities.
I just like to touch on, I guess, 2 things before we end.
Okay.
The first one would be knowing the timeline of your business. Because, for example, the 2 examples that Jamal used, the fidget spinner versus the PS5. We knew from the fidget spinner became the it product that it wouldn't last. But we all know that the PlayStation is probably going to go up to maybe 55, maybe more. But the mistake that some entrepreneurs make going in, they believe that, okay, this product that I'm selling is going to last forever. Or they get into the mindset that, okay, I sold 5,000 units this month. Let's try to sell more, without understanding that, okay, maybe next month or probably 2-3 months later, nobody's even going to want this product. What's next? And that's the main question most entrepreneurs don't ask themselves. Even when the product is hot at the time, what most successful businesses have is what's next. For example, you have companies like Apple, Toyota, Honda. They actually have 100-year plans for their companies. So it's like when we think, okay, this is the hot iPhone out, iPhone 12, they're already working on the iPhone 20.
Yep, they're thinking long term.
Yeah, I think long term.
And another thing that really struck me and was a pivotal moment in my entrepreneurial career was knowing when and where to apply emotions and feelings in business. And for some reason, Apple seems to be the hottest topic. And that's actually where I learned that lesson. Because when I, piggybacking from Jamal, when I studied Apple and the story of Steve Jobs, he was actually fired from his own company. And what actually saved him was the same 100-year plan that they had was his. And because it was his, Steve Jobs forcibly left Apple and started an entire new venture that Apple actually needed and had to acquire in order to proceed with the plan that Steve Jobs himself put into place. Therefore, him returning and having back majority share of his own company. That would have never happened if he didn't have a plan.
All right.
So true.
And because he didn't put his feelings into play to say, well, okay, I'm hurt, I'm gonna retire. Mind you, he was already a billionaire when he got released. He didn't have to come back. But the money, at some point, when you make enough, money gets boring. So it was about the plan. He was so headstrong on the plan and knew it back and forth because it was his. He went ahead of the plan and created a platform. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I think it was this software or something that now all iPhones and all Apple products use because it was part of the plan. So they actually had to bring him in to help on the product. Then he eventually got himself back. So planning is so pivotal, and I made that mistake so many times because I had products where I thought, okay, this is it. And then came a big company. Just to go into a little bit of my past, before, I think they call themselves Blue Poster now, formerly known as Expressive. I used to do that before Expressive or Blue Poster ever existed. And I had pretty much the monopoly on about 30 to 40% of the island at age 19, 20. And like Jamal stated, I got so comfortable until I was like, okay, nobody can stop me. I am bringing in things all over. Everybody calls my phone. I'm paying all the bills in the house. I'm the king of the world. My parents can't say anything because, hey, I'm paying your bills. I can party whenever I want. It's 1920, and here comes Expressive out of nowhere and knocked me flat on the ground. Because not only did I get comfortable, I had no plan as to how things would progress and how Expressive took the same thing I was doing and innovated it, because I wanted to keep the secret of importing to myself. Because I did my research and importing was so easy, but nobody wanted the stress. And I came up with this algorithm that Expressive then gave away for free, that, okay, I could import things from my cell phone and literally just sit here and wait until it comes. But when I got that blow,
Did you freeze?
I actually found and used Expressive as my shipping company for the same set of people who didn't want to go through the whole process of learning how to import themselves. But they were like, okay, I see this Expressive thing. I don't know how it works, but how can you bring me this product, save me time? The one thing Expressive didn't offer when they first came out was expedited shipping. All they offered was, okay, we'll show you how to import, but you have to wait a week. Expedited shipping gives you 1 to, I think, 3 days. So I found a niche and used Expressive against themselves. And then because I was in there so much, I networked and inspired what they called at the time a gold membership, silver, and bronze. So when you are a gold member, you get discounts on importing. So what I was doing was using them to bring in all my products, give them a few dollars, get the discount off the top, and still make a profit. Wow. Now, eventually, they put me out of business completely because the more they started to open up and explain to the market that, hey, you don't have to pay me. You can do all of this yourself. I eventually had the conversation with myself, okay, this isn't working. It's dwindling down now. The market is oversaturated, like Jamal said, and I moved on to the next thing. But I never gave up, and I always, to this day, still do my homework and always stay ahead of the curve, even if my plan gets stopped in the tracks. From that particular situation, I never get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I now dab in multiple things at the same time. Not a jack of all trades. I mastered, okay, I'll start this, put these people in place. They report to me. Stuff get done. Now I have time to go on to the next thing. So it's so many lessons that you can learn to close, as I close, from simply studying other entrepreneurs, going deeper than what you see on television, deeper than what you could read in the book. Because the lesson that I learned from Steve Jobs was on I think it was a 2-hour documentary on his entire life. Other than the movie that he created for entertainment purposes. And to this day, I still study all the entrepreneurs who I can't touch, but through the power of the internet, because I know where I want to go with my conglomerate, I can communicate with them without even talking to them. And that's my time.
I would just add, especially when you're doing this whole thing, is to think the things like what we say and other people and research other people and just take it piece by piece by piece, tailor it to your business. Don't try to, no, as my grandmother used to say, don't follow fashion. Don't try and be like everybody else because you don't know their whole story. And even if you know their story, you really don't know their story. It's like, well, he said he did this in 1 year and he did this in 2 years and 3 years. Well, the market, the world has changed. Like back in the days, you could come out with an album, you were the guy making a mixtape and you could blow up. Remember the guys used to go to the flea markets and used to buy the mixtape. Well, you can't do that no more because you have things like Spotify, other things where you can get all your music and everything in one, iPads, and then we made that, what you call it, the iPod, things like that.
iPod.
This is a walking iPod. I mean, so it's like you said, being innovative, having that plan, and then thinking another thing, once you've established this business and it's working, like it's actually generating for itself. Because I think that's ultimately you want to do. You want your business to get to the point where you're watching it grow, just like a kid. You give birth to a child, you take care of them. The moment they can start taking care of themselves, you've accomplished your job. Then you move on to the next. You always want to have streams of income and things like that. So I'm cool with that. But yeah, definitely just take what we're saying piece by piece. If you got to rewind, go back. Like you mentioned about going back and watching those other things, study entrepreneurship, and you just tailor it. And eventually, as you're carving your business out and finding your place, you'll either succeed and continue to succeed, or that will fail. Doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that that venture didn't work. Go back, look at it, see what made it fail. How can you fix it? And you just keep retweaking and retweaking because then eventually it'll work. So that's my time.
So true. And just to add to what was said as well, because a lot of times I would have persons say, oh, you don't want to get into that business because everyone is doing it. Everyone can be doing something and you can be doing it different. And that makes the world of who's going to profit from who's not, because you can have 1 million persons selling bread or cutting hair, but you may have a special ingredient that you're going to add to what it is that you're doing, which is going to cause your demand to go up. If you look even in the food store, you have a variety of everything. You have a variety of hair products. You have a variety of foods, drinks, everything. But it had those persons who were producing the products that we see when we go inside of a food store, they had the mentality that, okay, because this person is doing it, this person is selling lemonade, or this person is selling juice or milk or bread, I shouldn't sell it. They would not have profited because although there are like 10 different brands of each item in the food store, everyone is still purchasing something. That's why the food store continues to buy it, because persons have different needs, persons have different tastes, and persons have different desires about what it is that they want to consume or what it is that they want to utilize. So definitely stay encouraged, be encouraged. Take from all of the keys that were given today. That was a whole lot. I hope that y'all were taking notes and writing down, because it really was a whole lot that was given out. These are persons who are well versed and seasoned in this environment. They know what it is that they're talking about. This isn't anything new to them. They've been in the game for years. So you're hearing it from the experts, okay? So definitely stay encouraged. Don't give up. Keep going. Continue to be innovative. Continue to, let your mind run as wild as possible. There's no such thing as a crazy idea. It's just a matter of executing it and making it work and finding the niche for who is prepared or crazy enough to buy. So I hope that you enjoyed today's show. We'll have another one posted on Friday. Definitely stay tuned. If you haven't already done so, follow me. K Shanice Hanna, wife, mom, mogul. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, thank you so much for taking your time out to impart your knowledge with us and to us. We're definitely going to use all of the information. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah. From the Bahamas. It's beautiful over here. You see my hair is blown all over the place. It's nice and sunny, but still breezy. This rather, it's rude, but anyhow.
I woke
Thank
up
you, everyone.
degrees this morning, so.
Oh boy.
I need to come back home. Take it easy, y'all.
Okay, see you.
Bye.
Goodbye.